Hi, this is Christine with Ziedman Development. Today I'd like to walk you through the activity type of supporters in the Salsa Engage data source. So if you want to just bring over data regarding your supporters, not gift information or anything like that, you can work with the activity type of supporters. So you can see I've selected that here on my activity screen. And I have my date for my activity from backed up to January of 2020 through October of 2020. So let's go ahead and click OK and bring that information over. So I've got about 20 records to work with, and I do have a mapping template already set up. So you can always create a new template, but I'm going to work with an existing one here, and let's go ahead and edit so that we can take a look at what is available. So you can see that I have a lot of different options here on the constituent tab. Just as a reminder, anytime you create a template, you always start with add new mapping under constituent. Once that's created, then everything else becomes activated. So you can see here I've created my supporters, and I have added things like the first name in the first name field. I do have a field setting so that I can create the casing and make sure everything is proper case. And I can choose whether or not I want to update new and existing or new or existing, and I can just do it on the field settings there. I have also added my last name here. If I had a middle name, I've got that mapped here. We can also see if there's a nickname, so we can work with anything in our source data here in order to be able to update the fields in Razor's Edge, and then we can work with a default value for anything that's not available in the source data. So we don't have a nickname in this option, but if you did, we could just click on the field here and we could add it in. On a blank there. You can see I've used a default value to map the template so that I have a primary addressee and a primary salutation, and these are formulas coming out of Razor's Edge. So since I don't have anything in Salsa that's going to match exactly, I've worked with formulas in my default values. Once our constituent is done, we can add all different pieces of information. So you can see here I've added a constituent code, and I've added that constituent code of friend. And I've also added some different consent records. So if you're working with consent in Razor's Edge, these will help you allow the information to say what category, what channel, did they opt in, did they opt out, what was the response, where's your source. So I've got all of that information mapped here. I've also mapped a solicit code. So if we wanted to mark them do not email, I've done that here. And I did add that to say add the do not email if their email opt-out date is not blank. So if they have an email opt-out date, give them a constituent or a solicit code, of do not email. I've also mapped some address information and phone number information from my supporter records. So you can see here I have my supporter address. I've added all my different address fields. I've also added that my info source is Salsa. And if you have a specific region, you can always default to that. I'm going to leave that blank for now. And then you can see I've got quite a few different phone numbers. So we've got a cell phone, a Twitter, a Facebook, a LinkedIn, home phone, work phone, and email. So let's just take a look at a couple of those. So you can see I have my cell phone, and I have used my cell phone opt-out date in order to mark that do not contact. So I've got a transformation here saying that if the opt-out date is blank, then the do not contact is blank. If the opt-out is filled in, then the do not contact is filled in. So you can use that as a way to mark specific phone numbers that people have told you in Salsa they don't want contacted on. We've also got Facebook. So if you have Facebook ID information and you track that in Razor's Edge, you can see I've got my Facebook information here as well as a phone type that I've created in Razor's Edge for Facebook. So all of these are just different phone numbers. If we had any other data that we wanted to add, we could definitely do that, but supporter data is really related to information specific to the person. So it's going to include a lot of contact information, which is going to live primarily on the constituent tab here and the address tab here as well. Thank you so much for joining me for this walk through our solicitor options. I hope that this has been helpful, and please let us know if there's anything we can do for you.